What if I told you that Edgar Cayce, America's most documented psychic, discovered something extraordinary about your sleep that could change everything you believe about protection? Stay with me, because what you're about to learn might explain those unexplainable moments in your life. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to escape danger by mere seconds, while others aren't so fortunate? Edgar Cayce said the answer lies in what happens when we close our eyes each night. But here's what will shock you, and I need you to listen carefully to every word I'm about to say. By the end of this video, you'll discover if you're one of the 3 zodiac signs that Edgar Cayce said never sleep alone, and why that might be the most important thing you ever learn about yourself. Edgar Cayce, known worldwide as the Sleeping Prophet, made over 14,000 documented psychic readings during his lifetime. But according to Edgar Cayce's most profound revelations, sleep isn't just rest, it's when your soul becomes most vulnerable, and most protected. Before I reveal which 3 signs receive this divine protection, ask yourself this: have you ever woken up feeling like you narrowly escaped something dangerous in your dreams? Keep that thought, we're coming back to it. Edgar Cayce discovered that when we dream, our souls partially separate from our physical bodies, wandering into what he called subtle spiritual dimensions. In these moments of spiritual travel, according to Edgar Cayce, we're exposed to both incredible wisdom and potential danger. But here's where it gets fascinating. Edgar Cayce said that certain souls, and I'm talking about specific people walking among us right now, are never left unguarded during these vulnerable moments. And you might be one of them without even knowing it. Edgar Cayce revealed that some individuals arrive on Earth carrying such critical missions that invisible guardians surround them constantly. According to Edgar Cayce's readings, these aren't fantasies or wishful thinking, they're protective forces, spiritual allies creating shields of light that no dark influence can penetrate. Now, I want you to think about this as I speak. Maybe you've had dreams so vivid they felt more like messages than imagination. Maybe you've sensed a presence watching over you in the darkness. Edgar Cayce said these aren't coincidences, they're signs you're among the chosen. According to Edgar Cayce's extensive research into the spiritual realm, 3 zodiac signs carry what he called a spiritual signature, a divine mark that ensures constant protection. But before I reveal these signs, you need to understand something crucial. The information I'm about to share could explain every lucky break you've ever experienced. So don't scroll away now, we're just getting to the part that might change your entire perspective on your life's purpose. Edgar Cayce discovered several unmistakable signs that indicate divine guardianship is active in your life. According to Edgar Cayce's findings, the most common indicator is what he called the sensation of presence, that calm awareness you might feel just before drifting off to sleep. If you've ever felt chills or goosebumps wash over you for no logical reason, or experienced a sudden wave of unexplainable peace, Edgar Cayce said this is your guardians making their presence known. And there's more. Edgar Cayce said that ordinary sleepers experience fragmented, random dreams. But those under divine protection? Their dreams carry structure, meaning, and purpose. According to Edgar Cayce's observations, these individuals often find themselves flying or soaring through landscapes, protecting others in their dreams, receiving instructions they can't quite remember upon waking up exhausted, as if they've lived a second life during sleep. Does this sound familiar? Because Edgar Cayce said if you're nodding along, you might already be walking under that invisible light of protection. But wait, there's a third sign that's even more powerful. Edgar Cayce discovered that protected souls notice synchronicities more intensely than others. According to Edgar Cayce, repeating numbers like 1111, moments of strong inner knowing, or feeling mysteriously steered away from harmful situations are all evidence of divine intervention. Now, here's what Edgar Cayce found most remarkable: these souls didn't choose this protection, they were chosen for it. And the reason why will absolutely astound you. The first protected sign, Leo. The first zodiac sign Edgar Cayce identified as divinely protected might surprise you, but when you understand the deeper reason, everything will make perfect sense. According to Edgar Cayce's readings, Leo carries an energy that burns brightly even in the silence of sleep. Edgar Cayce said their dreams aren't idle wanderings, they're spiritual vigils. When a Leo closes their eyes, Edgar Cayce discovered, their aura glows like a flame in the darkness, impossible for spiritual forces to ignore. Edgar Cayce said this radiant energy attracts both inspiration and attention from forces that might try to dim their fire. This is precisely why guardians remain close, ensuring their light never gets extinguished by unseen shadows. If you're a Leo, Edgar Cayce said you might wake with unusual clarity, as if returning from a council meeting on another plane. You might dream of royalty, light, or divine guidance. Even in exhaustion, you awaken with renewed determination, and now you know why. But Edgar Cayce warned that this protection comes with tremendous responsibility. According to Edgar Cayce, the Leo soul is called to inspire, to lead by example, and to hold space for others to rise. Edgar Cayce said their mission is too vital to leave unprotected. So if you're a Leo and you recognize these signs, the narrow escapes, the prophetic dreams, the unexplainable resilience, Edgar Cayce said each is proof that your fire belongs not just to you, but to something infinitely greater. The second protected sign, Scorpio. But Leo isn't the only sign Edgar Cayce discovered living under divine protection. The second sign is even more mysterious, and if you are this sign, your nighttime experiences might be unlike anything most people can imagine. Edgar Cayce said if Leo shines like fire in the night, Scorpio dives fearlessly into the darkness itself. According to Edgar Cayce's revelations, Scorpios are drawn to mystery, transformation, and the hidden realms most people instinctively avoid. Edgar Cayce discovered that Scorpios often report dreams that feel more like missions than stories. According to Edgar Cayce, while others drift through random imagery, Scorpios find themselves walking ancient landscapes, confronting shadows, or even guiding lost souls through spiritual transitions. Edgar Cayce said these dreams might feel exhausting, but here's what he discovered: this is evidence of genuine spiritual work, traveling, remembering, and healing in dimensions most people never access. According to Edgar Cayce's research, because Scorpio's soul carries ancient memory, it also carries ancient wounds. Edgar Cayce said they might wake with emotions that seem larger than their current life experiences, as if centuries of spiritual knowledge are encoded in their very being. Edgar Cayce discovered that this profound depth gives Scorpios rare wisdom, but also makes them targets for heavier spiritual energies. According to Edgar Cayce, this is precisely why their guardians don't hover at a distance, they stand beside them like allies in battle. If you're a Scorpio, Edgar Cayce said you've likely survived what seemed impossible, crises that would break others, yet you rise from ashes stronger than before. This isn't just character, it's proof of your guardian's constant presence. The third protected sign, Pisces. The final sign Edgar Cayce revealed as divinely protected operates with a different but equally powerful force. And if this is your sign, you're about to understand why you feel things so deeply. Edgar Cayce said if Leo burns brightly and Scorpio battles through hidden realms, Pisces moves with the force of pure compassion. According to Edgar Cayce's findings, their dreams focus less on confrontation and more on connection, bridging worlds, carrying messages, and offering healing where it's most needed. Edgar Cayce discovered that Pisces souls often experience what he called dream visitations. According to Edgar Cayce, they sense ancestors, departed loved ones, or spiritual guides whispering comfort and guidance throughout their sleep. Edgar Cayce said this wasn't accidental, he believed Pisceans carry an ancient pact with light itself, a spiritual contract stretching across multiple lifetimes. According to Edgar Cayce's observations, unlike Scorpios who wake exhausted from spiritual battles, Pisces often awakens with lingering emotions, peace, sadness, or inspiration that colors their entire day. Edgar Cayce said these aren't random moods, they're echoes of encounters on higher spiritual planes. But Edgar Cayce warned that with this gift comes tremendous weight. According to Edgar Cayce, Pisces absorb surrounding energies like water absorbing dye. Edgar Cayce said they can feel drained by negativity and overwhelmed by others' suffering, which is precisely why they require divine protection. If you know a Piscean who seems to glow even in silence, someone carrying seemingly limitless empathy, Edgar Cayce said that glow is proof of their guardianship, light preserved to keep humanity connected to compassion. But here's what Edgar Cayce discovered that most people don't understand: being shielded by guardians isn't just a blessing, it's also a calling that comes with a price. Edgar Cayce stressed that souls marked with spiritual protection weren't chosen for comfortable lives. According to Edgar Cayce, their paths are often heavier than most. What sets them apart, Edgar Cayce said, is they never face trials alone. Edgar Cayce discovered that Leo's fire inspires others but also attracts envy and resistance. According to Edgar Cayce, without protection, their brightness could be smothered by expectation and jealousy. Edgar Cayce said Scorpio carries lifetimes of memory, depth that could easily drown them if not for guardians ensuring safe return from nightly spiritual journeys. According to Edgar Cayce, Pisces' endless compassion makes them vulnerable to emotional exhaustion that would wither their hearts without invisible support. Edgar Cayce said the shield isn't protection from suffering, it's a safeguard ensuring suffering transforms rather than destroys. Their pain becomes wisdom, struggles become strength, and resilience becomes beacons for others lost in darkness. Now, here's something crucial Edgar Cayce discovered: this divine protection can grow dim if ignored. But I'm about to tell you exactly how to strengthen it. Edgar Cayce was clear that divine protection is never random. According to Edgar Cayce, it's granted not for drifting through life untouched, but for fulfilling your role with absolute clarity. But Edgar Cayce warned that guardianship can weaken if misused. According to Edgar Cayce, the key lies in alignment. When protected souls live authentically, true to their deeper purpose, guardians draw closer. Edgar Cayce discovered specific requirements for each sign. For Leo, Edgar Cayce said humility is essential. Their fire must inspire others, not dominate them. When Leos shine for others rather than themselves, Edgar Cayce said their protection strengthens. For Scorpio, according to Edgar Cayce, trust is crucial. They must accept that shadows they confront aren't punishments, but opportunities to transmute pain into wisdom. For Pisces, Edgar Cayce said boundaries are vital. While compassion is their gift, without protecting their own energy, they risk being completely drained. Edgar Cayce also emphasized something anyone can do to strengthen their connection with divine protection, regardless of their zodiac sign. According to Edgar Cayce, daily spiritual practices, prayer, meditation, or simple gratitude, act like signals sent into higher realms, affirming your willingness to cooperate with existing protection. Edgar Cayce said guardianship is a partnership. The soul must choose to honor its role, and in return, guardians ensure destiny unfolds with guidance, strength, and unbreakable purpose. So how can you know if this divine protection is active in your own life? Edgar Cayce said the signs are subtle but unmistakable once you know what to look for. According to Edgar Cayce's teachings, guardians rarely announce themselves dramatically. Edgar Cayce said they whisper through patterns, synchronicities, and moments of grace. Edgar Cayce discovered that one of the clearest indicators appears in dreams. According to Edgar Cayce, if you often dream of being guided, rescued, or accompanied by figures whose faces remain unclear, these may be your guardians. In waking life, Edgar Cayce said protection often manifests as near misses, accidents avoided at the last moment, sudden plan changes that spare you from harm, mysterious delays leading you to exactly the right place at the perfect time. Edgar Cayce said another powerful sign is synchronicity, repeated numbers, meaningful symbols, or unexpected encounters that answer questions you were silently carrying. These are the language your guardians use. But Edgar Cayce said perhaps the most important signal is inner knowing, that quiet voice saying, "Don't go there," or "Reach out to this person." According to Edgar Cayce, when followed, this intuition consistently leads to safety, growth, or meaningful connection. Now, here's something beautiful Edgar Cayce discovered that I want everyone to understand. Though Edgar Cayce identified Leo, Scorpio, and Pisces as specially marked by protection, according to Edgar Cayce, no soul is ever abandoned. Edgar Cayce said guardianship is woven into creation's very design. Edgar Cayce discovered that some carry protection more strongly due to their specific roles, but every human soul has access to guidance when choosing alignment with their higher path. According to Edgar Cayce, protection depends more on awareness than astrology. Edgar Cayce said the signs he highlighted serve as examples: Leo representing courage, Scorpio embodying transformation, Pisces channeling compassion. But here's Edgar Cayce's most empowering discovery: these qualities exist within all of us, waiting to be awakened. When we embody them, Edgar Cayce said, we step closer to the same divine shield surrounding those special signs. Edgar Cayce taught that protection isn't favoritism, it's partnership. According to Edgar Cayce, when we live with integrity, humility, and love, we open ourselves to guardians already standing nearby. Edgar Cayce urged us to think back on our own lives. Were there moments you shouldn't have survived, yet did? Times when quiet nudges guided you away from harm? Seasons when help arrived exactly when needed most? According to Edgar Cayce, these aren't accidents, they're evidence of unseen hands, reminding you your story isn't random. Edgar Cayce's message urges us to trust that even in hardship, we're accompanied. More than that, Edgar Cayce said we're invited to strengthen this connection through prayer, meditation, service, and choosing courage over fear. When we do this, Edgar Cayce discovered something magnificent: protection becomes not only something we receive, but something we extend to others, carrying light into their shadows. So whether you're Leo, Scorpio, Pisces, or any other sign, Edgar Cayce wanted you to know this fundamental truth. According to Edgar Cayce, the universe has not left you unguarded. Edgar Cayce said you're part of a greater rhythm, and when you align with it, you too will feel the shield of the unseen guiding, protecting, and carrying you toward your destiny. Edgar Cayce discovered that recognition is the first step. If you felt a spark of familiarity while hearing these words, like a reminder of something your soul already knew, Edgar Cayce said this itself is a sign of awakening spiritual awareness. In a world increasingly disconnected from its spiritual roots, the timeless wisdom of Edgar Cayce continues to illuminate paths for those brave enough to seek beyond the veil of ordinary reality. Known as the Sleeping Prophet, Cayce's extraordinary gifts revealed profound truths that resonate more powerfully today than ever before, calling forth a generation of awakened souls ready to embrace their divine purpose. Edgar Cayce understood something that modern spirituality often overlooks: the transformative power of collective spiritual intention. Through thousands of readings delivered while in a trance state, he consistently emphasized that when spiritual seekers unite in genuine purpose, their combined consciousness creates a protective force field that extends far beyond their individual lives. This isn't merely metaphorical language. Cayce described a literal energetic phenomenon where aligned souls become conduits for divine protection and healing. According to Cayce's revelations, each awakened individual serves as a beacon of light in what he called the great darkness of material existence. But when these lights unite, they create something extraordinary: a network of spiritual guardianship that shields not only the seekers themselves but radiates outward to protect humanity itself. This concept speaks to our deepest longing for connection and purpose, revealing that our spiritual journey is never truly solitary. The distinction Cayce drew between mere information and genuine transformation remains one of his most crucial teachings. In our age of spiritual materialism, where ancient wisdom is often commodified and packaged for consumption, Cayce's approach cuts through the superficial. He taught that authentic spiritual knowledge must be lived, embodied, and integrated into every aspect of our being. When you align with your divine purpose, what Cayce termed your soul's mission, you transcend the role of passive recipient and become an active instrument of cosmic will. This transformation isn't about accumulating esoteric knowledge or spiritual experiences for their own sake. Rather, it's about allowing divine consciousness to work through you, making you a living channel for the very protection and guidance you once sought externally. Cayce frequently spoke about the language through which the divine communicates with awakened souls: prophetic dreams, meaningful coincidences, moments of inexplicable protection, and sudden insights that shift our entire perspective. These aren't random occurrences but rather evidence of our growing alignment with cosmic consciousness. Perhaps you've experienced that moment when an unseen force seemed to guide you away from danger, or when a dream provided answers to questions you hadn't even fully formed. Maybe you've witnessed synchronicities so perfectly timed they could only be described as miraculous interventions. According to Cayce, these experiences are your soul's way of confirming that you're awakening to your true spiritual nature. These signs serve a dual purpose. They validate your spiritual journey while simultaneously preparing you to become a sign for others. Your story of protection, guidance, or revelation isn't meant to be kept private. It's a sacred testimony that may provide exactly the confirmation another seeker needs to take their next step forward. One of Cayce's most profound insights concerned the ripple effect of individual spiritual awakening. He taught that when one soul genuinely awakens to their divine nature, that awakening creates waves of possibility that touch countless other lives. Your spiritual transformation becomes a catalyst, opening doorways for others who are ready to step into their own journey of discovery. This understanding transforms how we view our spiritual progress. It's not a personal achievement to be celebrated in isolation, but a sacred responsibility to the collective human journey. When you embody the truths Cayce revealed, you become part of an ancient lineage of light-bearers, each one carrying forward the eternal flame of spiritual awakening. The invitation remains open, to move beyond seeking and into being, beyond learning and into living the profound truths that Edgar Cayce channeled for humanity. Whether through prophetic dreams, protective interventions, or the simple recognition of divine presence in everyday moments, your awakening story holds the power to kindle someone else's spiritual journey. In sharing these experiences, we fulfill Cayce's vision of a united community of souls, each contributing their unique light to humanity's collective awakening. The question isn't whether you're ready, it's whether you're willing to step into the sacred circle and claim your place among the guardians of timeless truth. Thank you so much for staying with me through this exploration. If you found value in today's discussion, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who might benefit from it. And if you'd like to go a step further in supporting this work, you can now leave a super thanks below. It's a small way to say thank you, and it truly helps keep this channel going.